Malapit nang makumpleto ang cast ng World Cup teams na papasok sa knockout stages. Para dyan, makausap natin ang football analyst na si Darren Hartman. Darren, welcome to The Score.
Yes, great to be
You're
here.
so far, can't reach you today. Welcome back. It's good to see you again. All right, Darren, let's talk about this exciting World Cup we've been seeing so far. I can't not talk yet, can't get out of my mind the game this morning first. The U.S. versus Portugal. This is what they call the group of death, right? Talk about this match that you saw this morning. I mean, almost a sure win, 95th minute, 10 seconds to go, and they let things go, and then they end up with a draw. I mean, how do you think they're feeling right now?
Well, I think there are three things that you need to bear in mind in a situation like this. First of all, football has always been a game of 90 minutes.
Right.
You have to concentrate throughout the game. If you look at America's previous games, they've been overly excited while they've been playing, and they've kind of burnt out in the last 20 minutes of the game. And then obviously the third thing is the World Cup is for big name players. Someone like Cristiano Ronaldo relishes playing in a game where he's 2-1 down with 30 seconds to go.
And he didn't make much noise during the whole match.
But then when he had to step up, what a perfect in-swinging cross into the box, and it just leaves the group so open now.
I mean, what does this say about how unpredictable this World Cup has been so far for you? I mean, with the kind of win that, the kind of draw that they forced, it was an impending loss. With Spain, the first defending champions to be out after their first two matches. I mean, talk about the shocks and surprises you've seen so far.
Well, this World Cup has really been a World Cup for big name players. I would say, every team has had their one player which has really been carrying them forwards. And unfortunately for Spain, they just couldn't really make things connect. People might say about how important the coach's role is in a team in a World Cup, and perhaps Spain just lacked that instinct when they needed it. And as you could see, it's probably the worst campaign for a reigning champion as of yet. So Spain have got a lot of work to do preparing for in 4 years' time, but they've still got that game against Australia coming up where they can at least put some points on the board
and have salvaged some kind of pride for the country. Okay, so we saw a glimpse of the graphic there for Group B. Netherlands and Chile already, advancing with 6 points each, so that's a done deal. Let's backtrack to Group A first. Brazil and Mexico leading the pack with 4 points each, and then you've got Croatia with 3 points and Cameroon with none. How do you see this particular group? You got the three teams up there: Brazil, Mexico, Croatia. Still have a chance to advance. Who do you like going up from these teams?
Well, I think the big game has already been played. Thinking about it, that the two Latin American countries have already played against each other. They played out the draw. And you would now expect them to go on with that momentum and beat the teams at the bottom of the group. I would have Brazil probably going through first on goal difference, and then Mexico coming through second.
All right, well, let's go down to Group C now. You've got, this is a fun group as well, Colombia, Ivory Coast, Japan, and Greece. Obviously, Colombia up there with the 6 points. And then you've still got some interesting scenarios down there. You've got Ivory Coast with 3 points, and then Japan and Greece with 1 point. How sticky can this situation get still? Are you still looking at Ivory Coast as one of the teams who can advance?
I think the Ivory Coast will still go through. They have the quality off the bench. As you can see, what countries can bring a player like Didier Drogba off the bench?
Coming off the bench, exactly.
Even though he can't play a full 90 minutes, it's not what his impact is on the game, it's what his impact is on his teammates.
Right.
As soon as he steps on the field, it's like you're seeing a different Ivory Coast team play.
I've seen that a couple of times. I've caught 2 of their games, and he's come in late, and all of a sudden, even if he doesn't touch the ball, all of a sudden they're like, pumped up and revived. Is this the kind of thing you're talking about, how this World Cup has been for the big names, for the big players, and how it's rubbing off on their teammates as well?
Yeah, and I think in terms of this, Japan have a big name player in Honda,
right?
But he doesn't have the same influence on his teammates that a player like Drogba has, or a player like Messi has, and that's probably why Japan are kind of struggling. Greece, relatively unknown, but really high in the FIFA rankings, just didn't get their preparation right for this World Cup. So I would say Ivory Coast to go through with Colombia in that group.
Group D now. Apologies. England is at the bottom of this group, Darren. I don't know what happened to them. Well, I know they've got a good, bright future ahead of them, but you've got Costa Rica up there with 6 points, Italy with 3, Uruguay with 3, and of course England at the bottom with nothing. Who do you see between Italy and Uruguay advancing to join Costa Rica?
Well, you would have to say Costa Rica to go through.
Right.
Based upon the fact that England have already been knocked out, I could see the English coach, letting other players get a start. That's the way it's going to be. Give them some experience at that sort of level. So I think Costa Rica are pretty much sure, and Uruguay-Italy is going to be a fantastic game. And whoever wins out of that game really deserves to go through.
That's it. Okay, Group E now, you've got France up ahead with 6 points, then Ecuador, Switzerland with 3 points apiece, and Honduras is down there with nothing. Between Ecuador and Switzerland, who do you think can join them with France?
I would say Ecuador, based upon the fact, even though Switzerland are very high again in the FIFA rankings, I just think that Ecuador playing in Brazil have that advantage. As you could see, you look how many Latin American countries are going to be qualifying for the last 16. They've got the crowd behind them. It's hot, it's humid, and they're really excelling in their home continent.
Their home continent, their atmosphere, everything works for them. Okay, Group F, we've got Argentina up ahead with 6 points, Nigeria with 4, Iran with 1, Bosnia-Herzegovina with none. Messi has been something else. Can you give us a, try to encapsulate and to give some beautiful words for Messi that can kind of like match how beautiful he's played on the pitch?
Well, obviously I coach now, and we were speaking to you before, and I think when I'm coaching the under-12s and I step out on the pitch and play in the last 15 minutes, that's probably how Messi feels when he's playing in the World Cup.
So like a grown man with children.
Yeah, he's fantastic. You could see there's only, again, a couple of minutes left on the clock, and he's just come out and curled it left-footed past the goalkeeper. Argentina, I would say, probably going to go through and at least reach the semis, at least.
And it looks like he can just command the game at will, right? At this point?
He just seems to really be dictating every single passage of play. And if a country's playing against Messi, I'm sure they're trying to pick him up and they're trying to mark him. So he is just so influential. And then he's got the players to link up with.
Well, he's got the quality there. Okay, before we let you go, one last group we haven't talked about. Group H, you've got Belgium with 6 points, Algeria with 3, Russia and Korea with 1 apiece. So this is still an open race between Algeria, Russia, and Korea. And you've had some competitive games as well. I've seen Korea as well. They can put some points on the board as well. What are the chances of these 3 guys or these 3 teams joining Belgium up there?
Well, I'm really hoping for Asian football that Korea can produce something in their last game. I think it would mean a lot to the development of Asian football. So my heart is saying, Korea, please win the last game.
Well said. I will agree with you on that one. But so far, it's been a fantastic World Cup. We're bound to see more exciting matches as the knockout stages happen. And just to remind you folks, starting tonight, all the end of the group stages will be simultaneous games, right? That's how it is. So they don't see the results of the other team. So at 12 midnight, you see 2 games, and at 4 a.m. you see 2 games. And we're all going to lose much more sleep till the end of this competition. Darren, thanks so much. We'll see you again soon.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.